My name is Richard Rost, and I'm a member of the parish. Some people know me as the wooden toy guy. Some folks know me from the little pantry, and other folks just know me from the guy that used to stop by occasionally and maybe do some preaching. This is Rost Ridge, where we are this morning. My folks bought this farm many years ago and split it up into three pieces. My brother was on the south end, my family and I were on the north end, and my parents were in the center. It was a wonderful place to grow up from the standpoint that the kids could run and learn, see how things actually grew, and it was a great place to come home to after I had been away working someplace. I retired from about 40 years of working in corporate America, which taught me that I really wish that farming had been lucrative enough that I could have been a farmer the entire time, because my grandfather was a farmer. My mother farmed in North Carolina, and then my mother and father farmed along with the other things that they did for a career over the years. I was raised as an animist as well as being a Christian. And animists believe that everything was created by God with a spirit, and that spirit lives within that particular creation the entire time that it exists, and that there's a circle of life, and that within that circle of life, even when something dies, it comes back to enrich or add to the earth or to the story or whatever. My Christian beliefs, there's absolutely nothing that compromises anything between the two because they're so similar. There are creation stories, there are stories about when the animals spoke to one another and spoke to the people. And when the people started using the things that the animals told them and they got too full of themselves, the Creator caused the voices to change so that the animals no longer understood humans and humans no longer understood animals. Very similar to the Tower of Babel. And there are many stories within the Bible and within the Native American culture and religions that line up with that. That being so, I learned about a lot of the things that we think are weeds that we put weed killer on are things that actually are used for healing. When you see jewelweed growing along a stream, the jewelweed is what's used for curing poison ivy. The poison ivy grows along the stream bank, but its cure grows right next to it. So in life, we find ourselves in Christianity faced with the very same thing. There are things that lead us down the wrong path or the wrong road, but there are things always with us and always beside us that are right there to cure us of all of our ills and to get us to a better spot. So I kind of use both in my own life and with my kids and with my grandkids through the time that I've been on this earth. And hopefully my story at the end will have been here to benefit those that have either walked beside me or those that come after me. And that the seeds that I've planted with my children and my grandchildren will bear fruit and help other people and feed their souls and help them, having grown up here on Rost Ridge as well. Today's lesson is Leviticus 25, the Sabbath year. The Lord said to Moses at Mount Sinai, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, When you enter the land I am going to give you, the land itself must observe a Sabbath to the Lord. For 6 years sow your fields, and, and for 6 years prune your vineyards and gather their crops. But in the 7th year, the land is to have a year of Sabbath rest, a Sabbath to the Lord. Do not sow your fields or prune your vineyards. Do not reap what grows of itself, or harvest the grapes of your untended vines. The land is to have a year of rest. Whatever the land yields during the Sabbath year will be food for you, for yourself, your male, your female servants, and hired workers and temporary residents who live among you, as well as for your livestock and the wild animals in your land. Whatever the land produces may be eaten. This particular verse speaks to farming and making sure that the land itself has a rest so that it can recoup from giving us all the vegetables and fruits and things that come from it. You'll see it in the area where you have green spaces in between the crops that are planted. And then in other places, you'll see where the fields have not been planted at all, where they're growing up in either rye or some other crop that can be turned under to re-nourish the soil. One of the things that happened in the United States many years ago, you'll hear reference to the Dust Bowl. Well, the Dust Bowl was when people cultivated all the fields all the time. There was nothing there anymore to hold the soil in place, and the soil itself became so common that the winds came and just blew the soil from one state to another state, and from west to east it actually created a dust bowl where nothing grew for years, and taught people again that they needed to be more respectful and to actually do rotational farming.